Hello, I'm Shaunna. I'm passionate about pages, and today I want to talk to you about this beautiful paper pack that is the August product of the month with Stampin Up. It is called, it is called Glow of Harvest. So it's 12 by 12 sheets of paper. There's 6 prints and you get 2 sheets of each print. Now, I hope you can see as I'm moving this around that this is shimmer paper. It's like it's an off-white background and it has a shiny surface. It's got a little bit of a faint texture, and the back of each sheet is plain white. Now it's very neutral tones with little pops of Cajun craze on a couple of them, and then 3 prints that are just very neutral patterns in them. Okay, so the florals I can find easy use for. This one, yeah, I think I can easily use that one. Definitely the leaves, always use leaves. And then there are a couple that are a more North American feeling for me. Acorns don't grow on the sand dunes in Perth, and I don't have photos of acorns, but I have an idea for using this one. And then pumpkins. We do grow pumpkins in our garden, but they're butternut pumpkins, not these Cinderella pumpkins. Having said that, we did go to a Cinderella pantomime, and I'm thinking I might be able to use a little bit of this, but I've got a different use for this paper in today's video. So when I unpacked this pack of papers, I was trying to decide what photos I might use for it. And whenever I'm having to make that decision, one of the first things I do is just have a little scroll through my phone, and Shazam! Look what appeared to me. All these beautiful sculptures. This was an exhibition. So what's his name? Richard McDonald is the sculptor, and he uses live models to create these amazingly detailed sculptures. And this exhibition was actually in the foyer at the casino where we went to watch the Michael Jackson show in Las Vegas. So instantly I was like, right, that will work really nicely. And when you look at these, a lot of them have that sort of orangey patina, I guess it is, to them, which would pick up on some of the colours in here really nicely as well. But when it was just these colours, it was a bit too monochromatic for me, because I do like a bit of colour. So I had a little bit of an experiment and discovered that the paper very happily accepts the alcohol markers on them. I love the leaves. That is just all done with the light shade of Old Olive, and then all of the veins and so on in the print show through. I did try it with some darker greens, and you can end up hiding some of that detail. So definitely a lighter green. So I think, I kind of like a bit of colour next to it rather than just more shades of brown. So that was fine. And then for this one, I was having a little play, and I did want to bring in like another colour, another soft colour into it. And when I looked through, there are blues in this one and this one that I felt I could, bring in. So when you look at this one, you'll see that I've coloured the background with light balmy blue, and when you look really closely you might be able to see some drag lines, you know, because it's pearlized paper. It doesn't, the alcohol markers don't blend as nicely as they do on regular cardstock. But when it's on my page with photos over it and so on, I don't think that's going to be a problem, and it just gives a bit of texture to the background, which kind of plays along with the texture in the photos, I think. And then the other thing that I wanted to do was I wanted to just bring in another colour, and I actually went with pink. So again, the light shade of Flirty Flamingo, I believe I went with. Again, because when I'm looking at my photos, there are some pinks that come out in it. So that's what I'm going to do. So just let me show you how easy that is. I work with the brush end, and you're literally just colouring in. Don't worry if you go out of the lines. It's not the end of the world. The images on this one don't have really hard and fast lines all the way around. The outlines are interrupted a little bit in them. Okay, and as with most inks, whether it's, you know, your stamping inks or these ones, they'll dry off a little lighter than they look when you first put them on. And then the same thing for the background. This did take a little bit of time, but it's just a nice little mindfulness exercise. Go around the outlines. Don't worry about being too fussy in between the flowers, just kind of give hints of it. And then you'll end up, you know, once you've gone around the outlines, you'll end up with some bigger spaces. And then I just literally you know, went up and down. When I did the first one, I wasn't as mindful of how it was going to look when it dried, so I would probably recommend keeping the direction the same. Either do them all going across or all going up and down, and you'll get a more regular kind of feel to it. So that's as easy as it is. You know, just work through and transform them this way. So I will finish doing this, and then I'm going to talk to you about the next step. Okay, so I've got those coloured. This one's stuck down. I just need to dovetail this one. So this piece is 1 3/4 wide, and really it's just up to you how long you want to make it. What's mine? About 11 1/4. This piece is 10 1/2 by 2 1/2. Yeah. This one I put the leaves under the floral. On this side I think I'll put them over the floral. Just, you know, just because I can. And then I'll have that photo overlapping. This set of 3 will be in a flip flap. Now I chose the dark background, the early espresso, deliberately because it contrasted nicely. It's in these papers, and when I put white or lighter colours as the background, these papers didn't work so well. So having a darker background, but I do want to mount my photos. So, you know, before I was talking about some of the colours, so I could mount them in Cajun Craze, but I feel like, and it does work, but I just feel like that will make them brighter than I want them to be. I could mount them in the balmy blue. I don't think that works at all. And then I thought, well, the pumpkin paper. I am unlikely to use 2 full sheets of pumpkin paper with any of the photos that I have, but have a look. When I pop photos on it, oh, the pumpkins are gone, and it's just these nice, it's a nice frame around them. I think it behaves well with the photos because it's got some of the colours in it, but the frame doesn't take over from the photos. So that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to frame each of these images, but I'm going to do these ones on a panel and these ones on a panel. Okay, so they'll be 2 2 strips, and then I just will use my second sheet to cut these ones out. So what I often do when I have a 4x6 and a 3x4 is I will cut my mount for my 6x4, and then from the middle of that paper I will cut the mount for my 3x4, and it's just a way of saving a little bit of paper, and that way, because this one isn't 6 inches long, I trimmed that down, I'll be able to get that from one other strip. So I'll end up with a strip here and all of this left over, so that if I do find the Cinderella pantomime photos are any good and I want to scrapbook them, I can still do that. All right, so I'm happy with the photo placement. I ended up swapping these 2 photos out because this one, the length of that and the length of that, brought it down too close to the end of the dovetail. So I'm happy with that. Now I'm going to bring in some circular elements in Cajun Craze and the Balmy Blue. And if you have a look at these ones, oh, they've got some foiling on them, which is pretty cool. So these are the Framed and Fabulous hot foil dies. There's 3 foiling dies and 3 coordinating cutting dies so that they can nest. But I actually bought in also the Spotlight on Nature dies for some of the cuts. Like that smallest foil die fits really nicely in inside this one that's like a pie edge, I guess, which I quite liked. And then I thought the gap between this one and the Spotlight on Nature one was good. I totally could have done this, and you line up the scallops with the pattern of the foiling, but I wanted to keep my edges simpler, not so decorative. So that's why I went for these ones. This pretty one is cut from the center, the smallest die in the cutting elements there, and I just used the 2 smaller circle dies for the foiling. I didn't use this one. If you're not familiar with the process of hot foiling, pardon me, I'll link to a video that Stampin' Up have produced that shows you the exact steps in foiling, and this one uses the beautiful copper coloured foil, which I thought played really nicely with the Cajun Craze. So this big one, you'll see that my scrap that I was using didn't have enough to cut it all out, but I didn't worry about that. This is going to be a little journaling space, and it's going to tuck behind, so that flat edge will tuck behind over here somewhere. And then I'll put a couple of blues. I might pop one over here somewhere, and maybe one down here. I have cut like different sizes and shapes and things with these, so maybe that one could go there. I do want something a bit bigger over here maybe. Might need, well, maybe the blue can go up here. Perhaps this one could go in there. That looks a bit odd, doesn't it? Maybe a bit more like that. I could cut that one and bring it over somewhere else. So if I use those as rough bases, put my title up here, as I say, my journaling here, and then I think I will bring in some greenery, some die cut greenery to fill out the spaces, and that'll be it. So I'll finish all of that up and give you a little look-see. Almost there. I'm just adding my titles. So I have used the hot foiling to create the alphabet. So this is the way the alphabet looks when you run it through the first time. And then you can do reverse foiling, and this is the way it looks then. It's a little bit more rustic, but still appealing. And so I am alternating first foiling and reverse foiling to just pick up a little bit more on the shading in the paper. Okay, so when you're using these letters, you foil them, then put adhesive sheet on the back and then cut them, and you will be able to peel off the backing. If you forget to do that, I have repositionable dot tape that peels away from the backing, or you can use liquid glue, whichever one makes you happy, really. And then just go through and place them down as you want to. And I'm just calling this superb art because I don't need the name of the sculptor because that's in the photo, and I didn't want to use some trite phrase. I feel like this art is above that. So I won't finish this. I won't bore you with finishing that on film. And then for the greenery, I am playing with a September release. It's called Wrapped Greenery, and there are dies and stamps. And if you have a look, this little stamp, the leaves are done in one colour, and then the berries all match up really nicely to add the other colour. So I did that in the second generation of Cajun Craze, because the first generation, they were too Christmas berry kind of look. And I do love with Stampin' Up dies that the bleed, which is the frame around the outside of the image once you've stamped and cut, is quite narrow, so they're very, very easy to line up and keep them lined up as you run them through your cutting machine. So I just added a few. I cut 4 of each of those, and then only used 3 of each. I cut extra because I wondered if I wanted some around the title. I think I'll put a couple of little gems around it and not overwhelm the title too much. I don't mind these coming over the photo because it's the corner of a picture frame that was kind of distracting. So I feel like that brings your eye into the sculpture there. And I'll add my journaling here. And then I'll I'll give you some close-ups of what it looks like finished. And here's the finished layout. Now, you know, 10 points to anyone who can spot my whoopsie that I am not changing. Just had a bit of a chuckle when I realized, okay, so here we have the title just with a couple of gems around it. I feel like alternating the solid and the accented gold kind of echoed the tones in the sculptures rather than having them all with the lighter background or all with the gold. So I was happy with that. Here's my little clusters, very simple close-up of my colouring in. Like, look at those sculptures. Like, oh, amazing. I can craft, but I can't art. Look at the fineness of her or his horn there, and the detail in this face here and the muscles. Another sculpture. On the little circles I just put the date, and on the one on the other page I put Las Vegas and wrote my little story here and a few more gems around there. So if you like the look of this is what I call altered paper. I plan to use the other papers in this pack and alter them in different ways. So be sure to subscribe to this channel so that you can see the results of that altered paper. And if you are interested in doing an online class where I walk you through all the different ways you can alter this paper, head on over to my website and look for the class called Glow of Harvest Altered Paper. That's passionateaboutpages.com. As always, if you like and comment, YouTube knows that people want to see more of this, and I would really appreciate you. Bye for now.